Yesterday, I posted up a video about preparing early, way ahead of time for whatever's going to happen. And we talked about that scale, whether it's this is the minimum that can happen and this is the maximum, worst case scenario. Today, I'm just going to run around here. I'm doing some final checkup. The reason why I'm doing it so early is because we're going to have pretty much rain, it looks like. So I don't want to be out here in the rain doing all this, which the rain has started. So early this morning, I got up doing some prep. I've been trying to shoot my EcoFlow video for 3 days and stuff keeps happening out here. I got a crazy rooster that either I got to kill or get rid of. I'll show you that. I'll run around. I'm getting my generators ready, getting everything ready. Someone is going to have a catastrophic ice event. I don't know where it's going to be. I think we're going to get probably maybe 1/4 inch of freezing rain. Then it's going to turn to rain. The problem's going to be on, I think, on Monday and Tuesday. They say there's a possibility that we could get down to either 0 or sub-zero temperatures. Everything's going to be shut down if that happens. It doesn't matter. If you get 1/2 inch, 3/4, or 1 inch of freezing rain, and then you get 10 to 20 mile an hour winds like they're talking about, that's like hurricane damage. I'm just warning you. So there are going to be people out there during this event that are without power for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. The other thing is you walk outside on ice steps, you fall down and break your arm, you're not going to the hospital. No one's coming to you. You're not going to the you got to be real careful. I'll show you some other tips on that. What else is going on? We're pretty much done out here. I've talked to you guys for the past year about just preparing slowly, little by little. So when something like this happens, I don't have to worry. We literally could go out here with the solar systems we have, the backup battery, all the food, freezers, everything we have, the chickens, the eggs, literally could close our gates and live out here for probably 2 years. So anyways, but I got to do some final prep. I got a cord of firewood coming, but I want to bring down some more firewood. I'll talk to you about why even this badass EcoFlow system over here will not, that's my heat pump running, that thing will not run a big system like I have. It'll run AC, but it will not run heat. And it's because of these the auxiliary coil strips that I have. I have 2 of them. I have a dual system, and each one of those is 10 to 15,000 watts. So anyways, I have a Vermont Castings wood stove, which heats that whole place in there. Just a crazy morning, dude. So I'm gonna try, if you guys want, first of all, drop a comment and let me know where you are and what you think you're gonna get as far as ice and whatever, and what preps are you doing. You guys did that on the last video, and I appreciate it. I probably will do a daily update on this just to sort of tell you what's going on. And you're probably going to be bored because you're going to be stuck inside the house, so make sure you have some kind of backup battery system. Ryan, my son, just came by, and I have one of these small battery systems, so I gave that to him. I actually gave him some extra food. I wish they were in the new house because I took over the old EcoFlow DPU with 2 batteries over there. Oh my God, if you have a gas heat, it uses no power whatsoever. I was shocked. We were running light bulbs. We were running the heat over there. It's a gas heat system. It was nice and toasty. I was only pulling 600 watts. That's crazy. This system, if both are running and the heat strips are running, I'm 25 to 35,000 watts. That's the difference on these systems. So yeah, anyways, here we go. I'll put something together. Hope you enjoy it. All I ask you to give a thumbs up and let me know what you're doing and what's happening in your area. Here we go. So that's the bastard right there. That's the one that wanted to start all the trouble, get into fights. So I have a free range rooster now. He's been kicked out of the houses. I did put some water and food down. I don't feel like killing them. I guess if a hawk gets them or a coyote or something, that's fine, but we'll just see what happens. Be fun to watch. But man, he was going after some of my girls. He was going after some of those girls viciously. I was like, dude, this ain't gonna work out. Now I know why the other rooster was attacking you. He was protecting the girls in there. So now he's free range and I don't care. He can do whatever. I'll put a little bit of food and water out for him, but all right. So if you haven't seen my chicken container, by the way, I took an old ugly shipping container. There's a local artist that does this with spray paint. It's the coolest thing. I put a time lapse of her doing it on my channel. It starts off with just numbers and letters. It's so cool to watch. But anyways, that's our chicken container. And this is where I keep like a lot of feed and firewood, basically. So I'm gonna open this up. I probably need to get a little bit of feed, but that's the firewood I got left. And this was all the way over to here. So I gotta clean this out a little bit and probably take down some more firewood and make sure all the girls I think have all their feed. Oh man, I gotta move all these bags because I need to get that little generator. And I'm probably going to use that little generator up here. Let me show you what I've got up here. And so I had my electricians put in a generator box here. And all I have to do is shut off my well pump. But my Starlink is up here. It does have a backup battery on it, but that's only going to last probably a couple hours. So I need to get power over here. I probably need to shut off some of these lights too. No, it's not a battery system, so it doesn't matter. Now, if you've ever run a generator and you're 6 feet away from it, you can't talk. That thing will run almost 8 hours on 1 tank of gas. What I didn't realize, that is my 2000 watt inverter. My 3600 watt inverter is at the beach house. I thought I made a mistake. My 3600 watt has an RV plug, which I can plug into there. That one does not. So I have another generator over here. So I'm just gonna have to deal with frozen water with the girls, I guess. I'll just have to come up here with some hot water, but that thing will run on eco mode, powering my Starlink system. That'll power it for almost 8 hours. So basically I'll wait till the power goes out and then I'll come up here and start that. And then I need to make sure I got fuel for it. All right, so in case you don't know, cabin, big EcoFlow system, 6,400 watts of solar, big cable that runs underground over to the house. I have the option of running this or a gas generator. What I'm just gonna go ahead and do this now. I'm gonna switch it over. I'm gonna turn on the solar panels. I'm gonna turn on the batteries. And that way it's off my mind. I don't have to worry about it. Okay, so this is what I have here. This shoots 12,000 watts, 50 amps over to the house. And it actually comes back to the cabin too. This is the problem solver that I talked about in one of my last videos. The stupidest thing that EcoFlow has ever done is the way that they hook up their solar. This solves it. So I am going to turn on PV1 and PV2. I think though, I don't know that's going to intake any solar because I have it set, I think, to 95% as far as being full. That's where it stops filling. All right, so that's about 9,000 watts inverter generator. And what I could do, what's cool about this is I put 2 cinder blocks and I leave these doors open and then I can close that top and that generator is protected. The exhaust shoots out this way and there's no soffits up here for exhaust to get in. 48-gallon fuel tank, 20 gallons in this tank. Battery. If you don't have any of this fuel preservative, I've got really good fuel preservative in here. All I do is just touch it. That's pretty cool right there. I want to say this generator is like 9-10 years old and the battery's dead. But whenever you have a generator like this or anything sit for like 8 months where you don't start it, that carburetor that whole fuel system will sort of gum up and fuel can't get going. So all you gotta do is pour a little gas in the carburetor mouth, open up the choke so it's open, pour some gas in there, then close the choke, or actually just leave it open. Once it starts running, you can actually close the choke down. It creates a suction and it sort of draws that gas in. So it's just a little trick I've learned. I normally have a ketchup bottle that I can, because these things are on the side, but I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna have to do this by tipping the damn generator, I think, because I don't have my ketchup bottle. So I want choke off. I want that throat open. And I'm actually going to pour. I'm just going to pour a little bit of gas in there and move the gas away. This thing will not start, so let's see what happens. Alright, so battery is on, battery's dead, this is on, fuel is on. Let's give her a little pull and see what happens. Years old, I think it is. I couldn't get it to start. All you have to do is just shoot a little bit of, open up the choke so you have an open throat there, or a little gas in there. So here's another tip for you when you have an ice storm coming in. This thing's loose. Sand. I'm going to tell Ryan's coming over. I told him 2 months ago, take that extra camp stove that I have. Camp stoves are the greatest thing you'll ever have in a power outage. If you don't know what a camp stove is, get one. Oh, there's Bastard. Hi, Bastard. But sand. When your steps are icy, just throw some sand on it. Don't throw salt. Just throw sand on top of it. Now, there's the other rooster. What are you doing? You gonna follow me around today? Can't believe a coyote didn't get him last night. I don't know where he's perching at night. Where are you hiding at night? Huh? Where are you hiding at night? You gonna go up on my cart? That's Bastard. Let me get a bucket of sand, and then I told Ryan to grab, I got bags of play sand down there. Just put them by your porch so I have them there so you can spread it. So it's dark, wet, and cold up here. I got the girls lured out here, and then I close their door. I have an automatic Wi-Fi where I can close that door on my phone. So they're out there eating an afternoon snack, some black fly larvae. And in the wintertime, especially when it's dark, egg production will go down. Here's an interesting note. See, we build our chicken houses in the south. This is what I like to see. I like to see these gaps in here. That's a lot of airflow. It just helps everything dry out. The problem being, if we're gonna have a record, we have the potential for record lows here. They're saying anywhere from like 12 down to 0. And so what we did, we actually go up here and we put sort of a tarp in case there's any real strong wind. Normally everyone will tell you do not heat a chicken coop. True, except when you have something brutal like this and you have a chicken house that's not fully closed up like this. So I do have 2 oil-filled heaters. And I said this in one of my last videos. If you're somewhere where you have to heat a chicken house, don't have anything that's like a exposed coil ceramic heater, even heat lamps. You don't want any of that. That's where you run the risk of fire. These oil-filled radiant heaters, there's no way they can catch on fire. It's just basically a coil inside that's covered up that heats up the oil, and it just radiates heat. So it'll actually, if I do put it in here, I'll put it in here, the heat will rise up and it'll sort of be trapped in this upper area where they always perch up high. So I will do that if it gets really cold. That's kind of why I have that generator up there, because I may have to have power. I do have outlets in here, but I may have to have power. A couple eggs in this one. Oh yeah, we got eggs. We got eggs. Is there chicken in here? I just heard something. 7, just beautiful. I'm doing an experiment on this one. I'm using a different bedding material. We're testing out bedding materials. So I talked about this in one of my last videos. There's a new nesting box coming out, and I'm working on testing with the company, and it'll solve all the problems that you have with nesting boxes. I know people say that they have done that. Not true. There are still some issues that need to be solved. A better mousetrap. And no eggs. So we've been testing this, and I'm going to pull this material out here in a minute because it just doesn't. And then this, I got a different material. Look at it, loaded. This one's loaded with eggs in here. Look at that. So they prefer that material over that material like 10 to 1. All right, so these are the new girls. That's the rooster. Right there in the middle. Eat some black fly larvae. Some scraps, some turnip greens. Let's go check their eggs. So these chickens are young. They're laying something called pullet eggs, or some people call them fairy eggs because they're small. They are cute. They're really pretty. Let's see what we got. It's kind of hard to get in here because their little eggs roll. See how they're cute. They're really small and cute. Ooh, look how dark that one is. Wow. They all like to lay in the same tray, which is usually this one right here. Yep. There's a blue. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Pretty blue eggs. Let's push them up. Aren't they beautiful? Can't wait till they get bigger. All right, so I'm trying to figure out where to put this. He seems to continually want to go towards these girls, which are his old home. So I've got a dog crate. He actually has been going in there. So hopefully, I got water here, got food for him. Hopefully he just finds that comfortable enough where he'll just go in there. Everyone's telling me to kill him, and I don't want to kill him. But I've always said, you are what you are because of your life choices. He's made his life choices to be a bastard towards my other girls. I don't know if I mentioned this or not. I did a Walmart order online, just general stuff this morning. We always keep water here, and Walmart's out of water. I mean, no water. Yesterday, my daughter was over at Walmart shopping, and she said, I wish I had recorded it. She said there were women fighting in the line because they thought someone had cut. She said it was crazy. But here's a tip for you. Think outside the box. I needed something from Lowe's, and then all of a sudden I thought, Lowe's sells water. There's 4 cases of water. We keep them here mainly for the workers, and I do drink some too, but just a little think outside the box tip for you. Also, don't just go to Walmart. That's where everyone runs to. 15 minutes down the road here, there's a little grocery store, independent chain store. They have stuff. Okay, so as you can tell, it's getting dark out. I've been doing this stuff all day, and I don't think I'm going to be posting up a video tomorrow, but I definitely want to put a video up on the days that we have the storm. So it's going to be probably on Saturday and on Sunday. I'll give you an update. We'll keep in communication what's going on, but I want to show you this power system, this EcoFlow system in use. I want to show you that. I'll show you what I'm doing with the generators and everything that's going on here, but please be safe. Take some of my tips, heed them. Talk to you later. Doc.